Hello, everyone, and welcome to. Huh? Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fullerton College Volleyball on Hornet Radio. We are live from the Hornets' Nest on the campus of Fullerton College as the Hornets take on the Riverside City College Tigers. I'm Caleb Ramos alongside my partner James Spillin. And James, these last few games have been interesting for both teams.
Yeah, today we got Fullerton coming off a loss against Cypress 3-0, and Riverside's coming off a loss at Irvine Valley 3-1. So both teams are looking to bounce back from those losses.
Now, do you have maybe a couple of players to watch in this game for both teams?
Yeah, for Fullerton, we're looking for Bree Stottmore. She's been their best player all season. She really does it all. Also, Ava Espinda and Savannah Hernandez.
Now, as we are waiting for them to set the lineups here in the gym, I will set them for you. And before that, we have the referees. Ref 1 is Howard Shuai. Ref 2 is Winnie Wang. Line 1 is Vian Ho. And line 2 is Nestor Ledesma. Starting lineups for both teams. For your Fullerton College Hornets, you have number 1, Ava Espinda. Number 9, Kennedy Dobre. Number 11, Cecilia Arroyo. Number 6, Libero Addison Ortega. Number 16, Bree Stottmore. Number 21, Claudia Bastillo. And number 25, Savannah Hernandez. And for the visiting Tigers, you have Libero number 3, Sienna Vium. Number 7, Kayla Tate Rogers. Number 10, Jaden Franchier. Number 13, Eva Mohammed. Number 16, Riley Rush. Number 21, Sarah Britton. And number 23, Savannah Smith. As we get ready for this match to start, the teams are getting out of their huddle and setting up lineups. It looks like Fullerton will serve first. And for any students listening, we're here to help you succeed. Need support with college life? Our student success advocates are ready to meet with you one-on-one. We'll help you find the resources you need, plan for the future, and tackle any challenges that come up. Whether it's academics, personal goals, or career planning, student success advocates have got your back. As we wait for the refs to check the lineups, make sure they're all good, get the liberos in. James, what do you expect to see in this game?
I expect to see a good matchup. Both teams have been struggling all season, and they're both looking to bounce back and get on the right track.
Looks like the Tigers will serve first. That is Riley Rush, the setter, back to serve. As she gets the ball, and we are about to get off and going. Whistle is blown. Rush's pass is received. Out to Stottmore. Drops it right over the block. That Bree Stottmore with a beautiful tip. That was Kayla Tate Rogers looking for a net, did not get the call, and Stottmore goes back to serve.
Yeah, that was a really good assist there by Cecilia Arroyo.
Stottmore serve. Received by Vium. And she goes quick down the middle to, that is Sarah Britton. One thing I've noticed from looking at Riverside, they like to run their middles a lot. Their middles have their highest 2 kill counts at 84 and 75. Britton adds to her total, making it 85.
That Madison Pastorius just checked into the game, too.
Savannah Smith back to serve. Serve goes deep, received by Stottmore. One-handed set. Passed by Voom. Dug by Stottmore once again. And that is hit, cross court, and out. That was Claudia Bastillo, who tried to go sharp angle, could not get the down force she needed on it.
Yeah, that was a good player there. She had the space there. She just went a little too wide.
Savannah Smith back to serve once again. Smith received by Stottmore. Overpass. The overpass is not taken well. That overpass is fine. Bastillo goes off the hands And a net call against Sarah Britton. I believe that was her hair that got tangled in the net. And in volleyball, you can't touch the net, obviously. And even something as small as your hair or a piece of your jersey counts as a point against. Libero, Addison Ortega serves. Float is shanked left. Tip is over, received by Bastillo. Back set, tip received by Voom. Britton gets a tip, picked up nicely. Free ball over. Set to Britton once again. Miss hit. Once again has to send a free ball over. Hard swing and absolutely roofed by Kennedy Dobray.
That was a great rally there. Both teams went back and forth. Riverside had a chance at a couple spikes, but just mishit it a couple times, and Fullerton ends up getting the point.
Serve once again. Set is back this time. And off the hands of Bastillo goes Kayla Tate Rogers. Now Sienna Vume back to serve. Score is 3-2-3. Serve received. And a back set to Stockmore, who has to hit it from her feet. Now, that was a quick gap route ran by Jaden Franchier. The set was a little bit too high. She could not make the connection. Score is now 4-3 as Valia Vick-Rockman goes back to serve. Serve is received. A little bit too tight to the net. There, Tigers are able to make it work. Bastillo goes high off the hands. Blocked by Ava Espinda. Tate Rogers now goes off the hands of Espinda. Set back to Bastillo. Goes off the hands of Tate Rogers and out, point Fullerton.
Yeah, that was a nice kill there by Claudia Bastillo.
Vick-Rockman back to serve. Tosses up. Little bit too far. Just got under the ball and sent it just a hair out. Substitution. Tate Rogers comes out for Marissa Ramirez. She goes back to serve. Ramirez's serve. Received by Bastillo. Little bit off. Back set to Stockmore. Able to jump on that one. Set. Once again, a little bit too high for Franchier. They're trying to run a gap. Normally with middles, you see quicks and gaps where they're right in front of the setter or in between the middle of the court and the outside of the court where the outside would be running. And the set's just a little bit too high. She can't get there. Bastillo goes back to serve. Set is up. And off the hands of Espinda goes Madison Pastorius. That is a nice kill as the Hornets are up 6-5. Pastorius goes back to serve. Pastorius going through her serving routine, as all volleyball players do. Tosses up. Received. And Bastillo runs a back quick. Or, excuse me, that was Espinda, sorry. Now out to Stockmore. Stockmore rips one down the line and in. Heavy right arm of Stockmore puts that one into the floor.
Yeah, that was a smart play there by Bree. She saw the whole team go for that save and saw the open floor over here on the left and got the kill.
Espinda goes back to serve. Received by Smith. And they try a setter dump. Riley Rush tried to get it over, just right into the net. Point Fullerton. The score is now 8-5 here in the first set. Espinda serving once again. Serve is hit, maybe off the wrist instead of the hands it looked like, and it sails out. Point to the Tigers. Jaden Franchier goes back to serve. Tosses up. Short. Oh, and a kick save. What a save there. And it just goes over, and that is a free ball kill for Fullerton. What a save there by Savannah Hernandez. Reflex to get the ball up in the air. Substitution now. Kennedy Dobre comes back in, and Vic Rockman comes out. Serve done by Smith. Free ball out. And that ball looked maybe a little out to me, but line judge has a better view, calls it in. Ortega had the same idea that I did, but wasn't quite able to get it. Serve is short, received by Stockmore, goes up, and that was Cecilia Arroyo who could not get there in time. That's an ace for Riley Rush. Rush serving once again. Drops it short once again. Bastillo is able to get it up. Stockmore sends it over. Rush now getting it out. Off the hands. Stockmore tries to put it over on two, just a little bit short. That was Savannah Smith on the outside for the Tigers. As Rush serves once again, the score is now 9-9. Drops it short once again. Bastillo gets it up. Arroyo tries to get it up, sends it over by the scorer's table, not able to get it, and the score is now 10-9. Rush on an absolute tear right now. Received. Stockmore gets it up, and that Bastillo is not able to get there in time. Rush forces the Fullerton College Hornets to take a timeout, trying to halt the hot serving hand of Riley Rush. Riley Rush has...
Yeah, Riley Rush has been having a great season. She's got 215 assists on the season with 19 service aces.
She's been doing fantastic getting sets up. A little bit of misconnection with her middles, but her serving game has been on point as she's taken this game from 9-6 for Fullerton to 11-9 for the Tigers. Head coach Kevin Hitt for the Hornets takes a timeout trying to halt the hot hand. Coming back from the timeout, quick lineup reset for the Hornets. We have Bree Stockmore, Claudia Bastillo, Savannah Hernandez, Kennedy Dobre, Cecilia Arroyo, and Addison Ortega as the libero. Coming back out of timeout for the Tigers, we have Riley Rush serving, Ava Muhammad, Kayla Tate Rogers, Eunice Castro, that is Sarah Britton, and Savannah Smith, who just shanked that pass as Stockmore gets a kill, ending the run. The timeout worked.
Yeah, that was a great timing for that timeout. They really needed it. They're on a 6-1 run there for Riverside, so the timeout really helped stop that.
Stockmore back to serve, hoping she can get a run of her own. Tosses up. And she cannot. The ball floats out. That is now 3 service errors for Fullerton in the first set as a substitution is made for the Tigers. Ava Muhammad comes off, and Aurora McCulley comes in. Savannah Smith back to serve. Drops it short. Great up there, and Bastillo gets it over. That was Savannah Hernandez on the diving save. Britton rips one off of Hernandez's hands. A beautiful set from Rush, and she just had all the time in the world to power that down. Smith now serving. Ball is quick to the middle for Hernandez. Dumped by Rush, and nobody's there. There's nobody right in the middle of the court, and miscommunication. They weren't ready. Point to the Tigers, 14-10. Savannah Smith serving once again. And that one dropped short. That is the first serving error for the Tigers as the score is now 11-14. Ava Espinda comes back in as Savannah Hernandez goes off, and we have Addison Ortega back serving. Ortega drops it. Out to Tate Rogers. Off the hands. Bastillo gets it up, and it's right back to her. Blocked. Espenda gets that one up, and Britton puts it down on the overpass. There was nobody there. She had free reign of the net. That is her third kill of the day. Score is 15-11, and Sienna Vium is back to serve. Received by Stopmore. Out to Bastillo. Off the hands of Tate Rogers. Almost blocked by Espinda. Did not quite press enough, and that is down 16-11.
That's her second kill there for Madison Pistorius. And a good setup there, too, by Riley Rush.
Make sure to show your Hornet pride. Visit the Fullerton College team store for official jerseys, gear, and fan merchandise, as that is an ace there by Vium. Now, whether you're cheering from the stands or representing on campus, we've got everything you need to support your Hornets. Stop by today and gear up, as Vium comes back to serve fresh off a no-touch ace. And I might have jinxed it. That is announcer jinx. The ball goes completely under the net. Service error. The score is now 17-12.
Well, it looked like Vium might have stumbled there on the walk-up there.
I think you're right. I think maybe her shoe got caught on the floor, as there is a substitution. Vic Rockman comes in as Mendez comes out. And she misses her serve. Vic Rockman puts it into the net. Tit for tat on the missed serves so far today. Another substitution. Tate Rogers comes out for RCC, and Marissa Ramirez comes in to serve. Ball is up by Stopmore. Back set. And she gets it up and over, dug by Voom. Tip, receipt. It was good up there by Ortega. Espinda could not get the full arm on it to get it up and playable, as that is now 19-12 for the Hornets as they take another timeout. They're trying to get some time in, get some rest, maybe reset the momentum. So for Fullerton, we mentioned Bree Stopmore. She has 67 kills coming into today. And Cecilia Arroyo, the setter, has 145 assists. For Riverside City College, Kira Isgar, who is not playing today, or at least so far, is leading their team in digs. She's the only returner from last year with 141.
Yeah, so the Riverside's played 14 matches this year. They have 6.7 kills per set. They have 6 assists per set. And they're also averaging almost 2 aces per set.
Yeah, but they also have 93 serving errors. So they do have more aces than errors, which is pretty impressive. But you obviously want that number to be higher. Serving is probably one of the most important parts of volleyball. You can't get anything going without a good serve.
And that's showing up today, too. Fullerton's been having trouble with the serve. Riverside has it, and the score reflects that.
Marissa Ramirez now back to serve, back from the timeout. Serve is up, received by Stopmore into the middle of the court. Out to Bastillo, goes through the hands, dug up by Marissa Ramirez. That was a great diving play. They just could not get it playable. Bastillo, after her kill, goes back to serve. Another substitution. Ramirez comes off. Aurora McCulley comes on. Passes up. Rush goes down the middle, and it is tipped right over the blockers. That was Jaden Franchier going right over the top of Espinda. Now Pastorius back to serve. Score is 22-13. That one dropped short, received. Out to Stopmore. Goes off the block, picked up by the libero as she sends a free ball over. And that ball is touched by Bastillo. That was kind of floating, but it was dropping. Good call to try and go for it. She just couldn't get it up. As Captain Bree Stockmore takes a second to talk to her team, as Pastorius goes back to serve once again. Serve is off the top of the tape. Could have gone over if it was maybe just a tiny bit higher off the tape, but no good as Pastorius comes out and Muhammad comes back in. Espinda goes back to serve. Espinda has 8 service aces on the season. Can she get her 9th right here? The answer is no. That is a service error, 2 in the game for Espinda so far. And the score is now 22-14 for the Tigers. Franchier serving. Bastillo with the receive. Goes down the middle. It's blocked. And that is 4 touches. They're saying no touch on the block. It was into the net. What did you see? Because I'm not sure I agree with that call.
I didn't see 4 hits. I don't know. It looked like she could have double tapped it, but that's obviously what the referee saw.
Stockmore with the receive. Now out to her. Blocked. Out to Stockmore once again. Goes hard angle. Set is up to Smith. Smith tips it over. What a receive by the Grockman. Now out to Smith once again. Now Stockmore. And she gets it maybe a little bit too far on the right. Sends it into the net. Score is 24-14, set point for the Tigers as Franchier is serving yet again. Ball is short, received, set by the middle. You don't see that too often. Back set, blocked. Tip over, received by Grockman. Great reaction by Grockman and Hernandez to get the ball over in a spot nobody's looking. It is still set point. Do you think they're going to be able to get the 10 in a row or 9 in a row they need to make it 2? Cecilia Arroyo goes back to serve. Off the tape, received by Britton. Out to Smith, off the hands. Arroyo out to Stockmore. Stockmore tips it, blocked, and in. No, head ref Howard Chule overturns the line judge. Line judge called in. He said no. It's not what I saw. Scores now 16-24. Arroyo now serving. Ball is hit out over the blockers by Britton, and the Hornets are now within 7. Timeout taken by head coach Vashti Elias Romero of the Tigers. Now this is Coach Romero's first season. She was in college herself not too long ago, going to the Division II Vanguard Lions Beach team, where she was a part of the national runner-up 2 years running, 2020 and 2021. She's also a club coach at Club 909 for Beach, and she's the head coach at Riverside City College for Beach as well. And for head coach Kevin Hitt, he's used his 2 timeouts already, but he has an outstanding resume, being an assistant Team USA national coach, Northern, and a D2 national title with Northern Michigan as the head coach as well. We come back from the timeout. Arroyo serving once again. Coach Romero giving some last-minute advice to Britton. Arroyo, service over and out. Service error ends the set. It is 25-17, set to the Tigers as we switch sides here. Now, are you ready to tell the stories that matter? Fullerton College's journalism program offers hands-on training in print, digital, and broadcast media. Learn from working professionals using industry standard equipment. Get certified in journalism, PR, or advertising and graduate job ready. Your media career starts here at Fullerton College. Now, James, what did you see in the first set that the Hornets would need to adjust on to take the second set back from the Tigers?
Well, they started the set off very well, but I think the difference in the set ended up being the service errors. Fullerton had like 5 more service errors than Riverside, and it showed up in the score at the end of that set.
I 100% agree. I also think that they need to get on their receives for Fullerton. You can't let someone like Riley Rush go on a 9-point serving tear. I mean, if you do that, the set's pretty much already lost. As for Riverside improving, Rush needs to connect a little bit more with her middles. The timing has been just off. Either the middles are jumping early or the set's a little bit too high for them, so they can't quite make the connection. And we saw 3 or 4 balls drop in the gap for Riverside City College. And we mentioned Coach Romero for the Tigers. I also want to give a quick shout out to the assistant coach, Noah Spellman, who we have the saying here at Fullerton College, once a Hornet, always a Hornet. He may be a traitor to that a little bit here. He was the captain for the Fullerton men's volleyball team last year for the Hornets, and he's now coaching. We were able to talk. I was able to talk to him a little bit. He said something happened with the old assistant coach, so he joined in about two months before the first game started. We mentioned Bree Stottmore being kind of the person for the Hornets with 67 kills on the season, but after that, it's kind of spread out between their top 3. Coming into today, it was Hernandez with 26, Bastille with 25, and Espinda with 27. And Stottmore, besides being the kill leader, she's also the ace leader with 12 aces coming into today. Make sure to stay informed with the Hornet, your campus newspaper. From breaking news to in-depth investigations, our student journalists bring you the stories that matter to the FC community. Read it online today. The Hornet, where student voices make headlines. Now we have a quick lineup reset coming into set 2 as we switch sides, something that we didn't see much before this year because of COVID restrictions being lifted. For the Tigers, we have Savannah Smith, Sarah Britton, Sienna Vium, Ava Muhammad, Riley Rush, and Aurora McCulley in at setter. And for the Hornets, we have setting and serving Cecilia Arroyo, Bree Stottmore up in front, along with Kennedy Dobre and Savannah Hernandez. And then Claudia Bastillo is in the back row with Addison Ortega being the libero. That serve is popped over and miscommunication. Stottmore, beautiful to get it up and over, but it wasn't a great overpass. It dropped short. Tate Rogers comes in for McCulley at this point. That was a great serve and a great save by Stottmore. They just weren't able to pick it up. Rush with the serve, received by Bastillo. Smith with the set to Stottmore. Miscommunication. Stottmore has to free ball it. Rush out to Smith. Smith off the hands of Hernandez. Now out to Stottmore. Stottmore tips. Diving save by Smith. Tate Rogers. No good. And that ball is free balled. Almost. That was a very hard play that she almost made, trying to get it from behind the rest end, up and over and in. She almost got the angle just right. Not quite. Score is 2-0 as Rush goes back to serve once again. And she puts it into the net. Rush not able to get her hot arm with serving going just yet. Stottmore goes back to serve. The score is 2-1. And Stottmore puts it into the net. We mentioned service errors on both sides, James, and you seeing it play a factor early. Now back to serve is Savannah Smith. Ball is out, and yet again, another service error. 3 out of the 5 points in this set have been off of service errors. Both teams have to clean it up if they want to win the set. Savannah Hernandez serving, received by Vium. Ball is hit well and down off of Espinda's hands. That was Pastorius with the kill. As Vium goes back to serve, I would like to also welcome Mr. Mark Pavlovich to the air. Vium serve, set out again. That is 4 service errors.
And Caleb, you can't give away points in a game. You've talked about it numerous times that the bad serves or the missed serves are just letting another team stay in this match.
Dobre goes, and that was a nice serve as Smith goes from the back row and in off the hands of Espinda. Miscommunication between Stockmore and Ortega as a substitution is being made for both teams. Dobre comes off for Brockman for the Hornets, and Tate Rogers comes off for Ramirez, who's serving for the Tigers. Received by Stockmore. A well-done route by Espinda, but blocked beautifully by Franchier. That was a beautiful run route, and you can hear it. That smack of the ball, solid contact. It was just a better block by Franchier.
And that was one of the better setups for Fullerton today, too. Espineta, she had a perfect shot on it, just a better block.
Serve is put up by Bastillo. And put down by Bastillo. But no, line judge calls it out. Fullerton is trying to argue it, but you can't really argue with the refs too much. Score is now 7-2-3 for the Tigers as head ref Howard Chewy comes down to talk to the line judges, Vienho and Nestor Ledesma.
And what they're going to do is they're going to have a conference right now. Everybody needs to realize that they come over and, Caleb, I think it's interesting. You brought up this is one of the sports that if you argue too much with the judges, they basically look at you and sit you down and say, one more word and you're gone, unlike other sports where you get a technical foul.
Well, I mean, it's more like soccer in that sense. You have yellow cards and red cards. If you try to talk too much, you'll get a yellow. That's your warning. Unless you say something outrageous or egregious, then it's a straight red, like how soccer normally is. So Claudia Bastillo, they reversed the call. The score is 4-6. Bastillo back to serve. Rush to the middle, over the top, and Bastillo saves it. Nice pass. Quick down the middle, blocked. Stockmore gets it up, free ball over, and that is 4 touches. Riverside almost made a play out of it, could not. Franchier sent it into the net. Riley Rush picked it up. So Fullerton was celebrating once they saw the ball in the net. They forgot that the Tigers have a couple of extra touches. Ball is quick. Bastillo out to Stockmore. Stockmore has to roll shot it. Ball is out to Rush. Rush tips it over. And blocked by Espinda. The overpass attack from Franchier blocked by Espinda. Bastillo out to Stockmore. Looked like they were trying to maybe run a quick ball. The ball was too low. Stockmore couldn't get there in time. Point to the Tigers.
And Caleb, you talked about when they crash in the net, but you cannot as a player crash into the net and move the net because that is going to give the point to your opponent.
Yeah, as a player, no, but that was the ball. They saw the ball going in the net, thought it was down, tried to celebrate too quickly. As I say it, ball goes into the net. Another service error from the Tigers. Score is now 6-7 for the Hornets. And a substitution. Ava Muhammad comes back in for Madison Pastorius. Addison Ortega for the Hornets serving. Nice receive. Runs a quick down the middle, off the hands, and no one is there covering.
I got to ask you, because you've talked about service problems already. You play the game. How do you correct your serve in the middle of a match?
You got to reset. I mean, you have to take a second, get out of your head maybe saying I've missed too many and say this is a new set. I'm going to continue on as Stockmore swings out for Fullerton. Happens a lot when I practice is I miss my serve. I have to reset, take a deep breath, and move on. And that seems to be what Frenchier has done so far. Nice short serve. Stockmore rips one off the block of Riley Rush as Rush tries to put it back over, cannot.
Do you have different serves?
Yes, actually. I have my standing float and a jump topspin, which is you also have a jump float, a hybrid serve. Way too many serves. I'm just good at the two. And good as a stretch, I would say that. Ball is popped over. And a dump attempt by Arroyo. And she gets it to go. Arroyo, after the dump, heads back to serve. Scores 9-8 for the Tigers. Miscommunication between Stockmore and the libero as that was Dobre was blocked and Bastillo goes from the back row as Smith goes up against Hernandez and puts it in a spot where Bree Stockmore almost able to get it, not quite. Scores 10-8.
Get those shot, Caleb's, that come up to the top of your arm. Then you get in trouble. You can't do anything with it like we saw in that last play.
Bastillo with the receive out to Stockmore. Set too low from Arroyo. Stockmore tries to put it up, cannot. Scores 11-8. And you mentioned getting it caught
up by your shoulder area.
By your shoulder. You have to make a decision early whether you drop low and go hands or back up and go with try and get an upper arm platform pass. She got caught in the middle there. Service error once again by the Tigers. Stockmore back to serve. Takes a deep breath, tosses up. Received nicely by Vium. Out to Tate Rogers. Tate Rogers is blocked by Savannah Hernandez. She's got exactly where she needed to be, puts it down. No cover from the Tigers. As Stockmore goes to serve once again. Nice receive. Quick to the middle to Britton. And Hernandez off her foot, off the block. What a reaction by Hernandez. That's the second time today we've seen her go off the foot. Free ball mistake by Ortega. Not able to keep the rally going, however.
Did you pick on people when you served?
Yes.
Against your opponents?
Standing float, yes. Jump serve, no. Jump serve is a lot more power than finesse until you learn how to control it. So standing serve, I'm able to aim. Jump serve, not really. Sometimes I am, but not too much. As Savannah Hernandez goes back to serve. That is a quick ball to Britton. Britton goes early. Miscommunication from Britton and Rush. Britton had the timing, beautiful set, but she just jumped a tiny bit early. As Hernandez goes back to serve as the score is now knotted at 12-12. That is a setter dump, and Hernandez almost gets that one up, not quite.
You know, Caleb, when you watch this and we talk about things getting set up, practice is different a game, but are there certain set plays that are set up plays for you out there?
Absolutely. I mean, there's gaps, goes, 42s, all this kind of different stuff that you usually call it before the play starts on serve or receive. As a nice kill there by Claudia Bastillo puts the Hornets within range once again, tied 13-13. And Mark, as I was saying earlier, you call those plays usually with your middle and outside before. So you can tell your middle, run a one through the middle, run a gap in the open space. And that is a net tip serve by Kennedy Dobre. That was beautiful. And Mark, right there, that's something that if you can perfect, it's almost a point every time, but it's very, very hard to perfect. as Dubray serves once again. Received by Smith. To the middle, and Dubray calls it out. Dubray calls it out. Line judge calls it out. I'm not sure I agree. That looked fully into me. But the Hornets take their first lead of the second set. Dubray serving once again, received by Smith once again. Out to Pastorius. Blocked by Espinda. Tate Rogers. Her tip is brought up, and it looked like Smith was going to go for a back row attack. Could not get it. Could not get it going. Almost a collision between her and the libero, but is able to get the set up to Franchier, who puts it down.
So while we've got our head coach talking to the judge right now, I got to go back and ask you about serves again too, Caleb.
Yeah.
When I used to play the game, not on the level as you, but when I hit a jump serve, I always did it with a closed fist. Do you use the open hand or a closed fist?
I do use the open hand. The only time I use closed fist is on an overhand pass. Closed fist is way too much margin of error for me to use it consistently. It gives you more power, but it's way too easy to miss hit. As a tip from Espinda goes down, and the Tigers are able to get 3 touches on it, but not put it over. As a substitution occurs for the Tigers, as Ramirez comes out and McCulley comes in. And make sure to tune in to Hornet Radio, your campus soundtrack. We're streaming live with the best mix of music, talk, and local programming. As that was Smith, puts the ball over the block and in. Whether you're studying, commuting, or just hanging out, Hornet Radio keeps you connected to campus life. Make sure to listen online now. I mean, you are listening online if you're listening to me. We're on Hornet Radio here. As the serve is put down by Pastorius. That was just a misreceive from Bastillo. She had it, and it looked like it drifted at the last second, shanked off the side of her arm. Score is knotted at 16 here in the second set. Pastorius once again. Her second ace in a row for Madison Pastorius. That brings her up to 13 on the season. Timeout taken by head coach Kevin Hitt, trying to halt the momentum once again.
Don't forget, tomorrow here on Hornet Radio, a little Fullerton College football. That's going to be with the students, myself, Corey Nail, and a group, so make sure you tune in. That's going to be video tomorrow as we go to game number 2 in the conference. Orange Coast College takes on the Hornets. We'll see if they can walk away being 2-0 on Hornet Radio at 12 noon.
That timeout was taken by head coach Kevin Hitt. The score is 17 Tigers, 16 Hornets in the second set. And you are watching Fullerton College Volleyball on Hornet Radio. Now, Mark, I was talking about the different kind of serves. There are so many that you can do, but one you won't see too much at this level is a topspin from the girls. And quick lineup reset for both teams. For the Hornets, we have Cecilia Arroyo, Valia Vakrockman, Claudia Bastillo, Ava Espinda, Bree Stottmore, and Addison Ortega as the libero. Serving for the Tigers, we have Madison Pastorius as Ortega gets the ball up to Stottmore. And that ball is dug, but into the scorer's table by the libero, Sienna Vium. Another kill by Stottmore as Pastorius comes out for Eva Muhammad. And now for the Tigers, the other players we have in, Aurora McCulley, Riley Rush, Jaden Franchier, and Savannah Smith. As they go outside to Savannah Smith, off the hands of Arroyo, out to Stottmore. Set a bit off. Ball is got up, out to Smith once again. Diving save by Vakrockman. Beautiful up. And a tip got up by Stottmore, just not enough. That was a great spot by Savannah Smith. Put it right where she needed to.
You know, every once in a while, Caleb, I almost look at that as a changeup. You're taking a full swing at a ball, and it comes off your hand wrong. It changes the speed and the expectation on the defensive side.
Now set to Rush off the hands of Stottmore. Now out to Stottmore off the bump set. Britton gets it up with one hand out to Smith. Received by Vakrockman. Stottmore once again tries to tip it like Smith. Not able to get it. Rush over the top. Vakrockman with the receive. Back row, Bastillo. No good. Franchier with a back row roll shot. Stottmore once again with her own roll shot. And that one is back. Vakrockman with the overhand pass. Stottmore rips it through. She got about, I want to say, 6 different sets in that rally. She finally puts one through with the power that we're used to seeing from her.
When you watch her out here, she's one of the players. You watch Stottmore. Every time she gets the ball over, she's got a big grin on her face. So you know how well she's doing because of the smiles on this court.
McCulley puts it out for Rush. Rush puts it down. The dig from Ortega goes to the back wall. Bastillo not able to track it down. Substitution now. McCulley comes off for Tate Rogers. Rush going back to serve. And it goes. She tries to back set, and there's nobody there. Not quite sure what happened. Maybe she expected Hernandez to run a slide, or maybe she expected Dobre to be there, but there's just nobody there. It just drops. Timeout taken by the Hornets in the second set. The score is 18-20 for the Tigers, and you are watching Fullerton College Volleyball on Hornet Radio.
I've got to ask you, the legality of all the sets on the receiving team, so you have to be away from the net. So what is the actual legality of how you have to set up receiving a ball?
When you're receiving a ball, you have to obviously there's rotations in volleyball, right? You have your outsides have to be opposite each other, your middles have to be opposite each other, and your setter and opposite hitter have to be diagonal from each other.
So do I have to have so many people behind the line and so many people up by the net? Is that part of it too?
That's not behind the line or in front of the line necessarily, but you can't have, say, Sarah Britton, for example. She's the front row middle, and Sienna Vium is the back row middle. You can't have Sarah behind Sienna.
Okay.
So you're able to stand. You can have them all on the back line as long as the front row players are in front of the back row players.
There you go. Thank you, Caleb.
Stottmore receives and blocks. Her once again got up by Smith, and Smith gets to go out. Diving receive by Bastillo. And they're calling a double. I didn't quite see it. I thought she went up with one hand.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a double either, Caleb. And I think sometimes, like everybody, judges, are human like we are and don't necessarily see what we want to see.
Bastillo from the back row hits it out. The score is 21-18 here in the second set for the Tigers. Rush, who had that big 22-18 score just got updated. Rush, who had that big serving run in the first, serving once again out to Stottmore as she rips one out off the hands of Tate Rogers, and there's that big smile you were talking about, Mark.
Exactly, and that's the fun part about watching this, the excitement of student athletes here at Fullerton College or Orange Coast College or Cypress College or Saddleback College. Come on out and enjoy these wonderful matches.
Now Stottmore serving, hardest serve we've seen today, I think, as Savannah Smith hits it. Dubre goes and finds the gap in between Rush and Muhammad. What a swing by Dubre.
Do you ever know where the other players are when you go down for a dig? I keep waiting for people to go head-to-head on a play.
That's why you see some people sometimes miscommunication. They both go for it, and they both stop letting the ball drop. Sometimes you have to commit, and if you collide, you collide. As that is a block by Hernandez, and the cover was not quite there. Score is 21-22 as the timeout taken by the Tigers. As I just mentioned, score is 22-21 for the Tigers, and you are watching Fullerton College Volleyball on Hornet Radio.
You know, Caleb, when you look at the game, you know, a lot of people would think that volleyball is a height game. We were talking about it upstairs before the game, talking about liberos that are 5'6" and everything else. You showed me a young lady earlier today from MSU. Her vertical was outrageous. What'd you tell me she can do?
It was 41 inches. She's 5'11", touching 11 feet tall. She's outstanding highlights from SMU.
Yeah, and I mean, so it's not really that I'm big or tall. It's the physical ability to rise, and even on the backside, the ability to go down and take on the hardwood. I don't know how many times did you ever hit a floor trying to learn how to play this game and wonder if you should play?
It was way too many. Way too many. But that's why I'm a middle. I don't pass.
Ah, there we go. Caleb just stands there like he does research for volleyball, right in the middle.
Stockmore serving once again as we come back from a timeout. Serve is up and received by Vium. Out to Smith. Smith off the hands of Hernandez, not quite able to get there was Ortega. Score is now 23-21 as Savannah Smith, who just got the kill, goes back to serve. For the Tigers, we have Savannah Smith serving, Sienna Vium at libero, Riley Rush, Kayla Tate-Rogers, Sarah Britton, and Madison Pastorius as Savannah Smith gets an ace to get them set point here in the second set. Serve is up, received by Ortega, out to Bastillo, goes off the hands, received, dug by Vium. Pastorius goes over, tipped by the setter, just good. Set to Stockmore in the back row. She puts it down. Savannah Smith gets a dig. And now she has to free ball it over. Stockmore with the free ball. What a route by Savannah Hernandez. That was a beautiful push from the setter, and the score is now 22-24. For Fullerton, we have, going back to serve is Kennedy Dobre. Oh, no, excuse me. There was a miscommunication. Savannah Hernandez is serving. Dobre, Espinda, and Bastillo all in the front row. Arroyo and Stockmore in the back. Hernandez puts one over. And beautiful set, but she just got behind the ball. Powerful hit from Britton, but she puts it out. Scores 23-24. Hernandez now puts it into the net. The score is 25-23. As we switch sides once again. This game score is 2-0 for the Tigers. The set score was 25-23 for the Tigers. And this has been Fullerton College Volleyball on Hornet Radio. As we get ready for the third set, Mark, we talked about all these service errors, and one ends the set right there.
Yeah, and Caleb, it really does. It breaks your momentum, too. I mean, you're scoring, you feel like you're in the game. You've played the game enough, and then all of a sudden when you're giving points back to somebody else, that's like going out to dinner and realizing they were supposed to take you out, and you paid for the bill, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean, missing serves are like missing free throws in basketball. Maybe a little bit harder, I would say, than a free throw in basketball, but it's you by yourself doing something that is essential to the game. So missing those kinds of serves it's a killer, just like missing free throws.
And here on the community college level, do they have specialists? Do you guys have specialists on your team that are servers alone?
No, we don't have any serving specialists alone. I mean, last year on the team they did. Nathan Cho, who was really, really good at both defense and serving, but came in for serving mostly. He was really good at it, but serving specialists aren't really a thing yet for the men's team. Vito, I'd like to welcome you to the air as well. What have you seen so far in this game?
seen a very competitive game between both teams. Fullerton College put up a really good fight in that last set. Let's hopefully they can pull it together in the third set and extend this match.
And make sure to launch your broadcasting career with Fullerton College's radio program. Get hands-on experience with professional equipment, learn on-air skills, audio production, and digital media from industry experts. From behind the mic like me to behind the scenes like Becky here, we will prepare you for the radio industry. Make sure to enroll today.
And video. I mean, so you're video, so we know you do that. So,
yeah,
and that's the thing. Caleb, when you look at this and you look at Fullerton, they've been close twice. So you're the head coach right now to the Hornets. What do you tell your team out there to try to get them back in this match?
If I was a head coach, I would say take a breath. Take your time. You're good. You've been playing well besides the service errors. There have been just a little bit too many mistakes, but if you get in your head about those mistakes, that'll lead to more. That's something I struggle with when I play, is making sure I stay out of my own head and not getting down on myself. So you just got to keep the energy up, keep going, and the girls seem excited and ready to play this third set.
Well, we'll see if they can bring it into this third set. It's been a ball being on the air with you because I'm learning much more about volleyball. I want to thank you here on Hornet Radio.
Lineups for both teams. For the Hornets, we have Savannah Hernandez, Kennedy Dobre, Bree Stottmore, Ava Espinda, Claudia Bastillo, and Cecilia Arroyo, with Addison Ortega being the libero. And for the Tigers, we have Kayla Tate Rogers, Sarah Britton, Savannah Smith, Riley Rush, Ava Muhammad, and liberoing is Sienna Viun. Now, Rush had the hot hand in the first set. Could not quite get it going in the second set. She missed her serve one too many times for that. Do you think she'll be able to get it right here? And jinxed it. Once again, missed serve, and the Hornets take the first lead of the third set. Now, something interesting I noticed, every single game for the Hornets has ended in 3 sets except for one, their most recent win against Santiago Canyon, where it's 3-1. But every other game, whether it was win or lose, has been a 3-set sweep. Wonder if we'll see it here today. As Brianna Mendez, the only other returner besides Bree Stottmore, coming back to the program, subs in for Stottmore to serve. And she puts it over and out. Tit for tat service errors there from the Tigers and Hornets as Savannah Smith goes back to serve.
Well, if you're a Hornet fan, you don't want just 3 sets in this one. You want it to stick around so they have an opportunity to pull off a victory here against Riverside.
Set to the middle to Hernandez. Good call, but that is a lift or a push, whatever you like to call it. You can't grab the ball like she just did. She essentially grabbed it and threw it down. That's not something you can do. If it was one like fluid motion, like making contact with the ball and then pushing it, that's legal. But she basically caught the ball and then threw it. That's not legal. As Smith is received by Bastillo, goes to the middle, and that is Samantha Largent, the new middle, in for Savannah Hernandez after that push, and she gets the kill. Score is 2-2. Confusion here between massive confusion between the Hornets. They're not sure who is supposed to be serving, who's supposed to be on or off, and they have to take a timeout in order to preserve it. The Hornets take a timeout. The score is 2-2 here in the third set, and you are watching Fullerton College Volleyball here on Hornet Radio.
So, Caleb, you already talked to me about mindset and everything else. How do you get this game to slow down for you while you're out there on the court?
You need to take your time. I mean, I know that sounds like simple advice, but honestly, taking your time, taking a deep breath, resetting yourself before and after every rally, that's how you make this game slow down. And there are points where you want it to slow down and you want it to speed up. Like if you have momentum, Your team is fired up. You're hyped up. You want the game to go. But if you're kind of struggling with simple mistakes like both these teams are, you maybe want to take a second for both teams. That's why the timeout was taken, besides the fact that they didn't know who was supposed to be on the court. Now, coming back from the timeout, the Tigers have on the court Savannah Smith, Sarah Britton, Kayla Tate-Rogers, Riley Rush, Madison Pastorius, and Sienna Vium. And for the Hornets, it is Ava Espinda, Claudia Bastillo, as Cecilia Arroyo takes that. Now Bastillo puts it over. Espinda takes that one. Arroyo setter dump. Vium tries to pancake it. There's nobody there. Beautiful spot by Cecilia Arroyo. And going back to the lineups, we have serving is Samantha Largent. And we also have Brianna Mendez in. That is a quick, and what a kill. We mentioned that girl from SMU earlier where we talked about it. She just kept floating. That's exactly what Sarah Britton looked like right there. I'd also like to welcome Joseph Abdo to the headset.
Thanks for having me.
Vium with the serve. Received by Bastillo. Out to Bastillo. Set maybe a little bit in. Received by Smith. Out to Pastorius. Blocked by Espinda, but it stays on our side of the net. She has to tip it over. And that is another middle kill that was Jaden Franchier. As I mentioned earlier, Riverside likes to run their middles a lot, and it's paying off for them so far. Vium with the serve, off the tape, out to Bastillo. Bastillo goes off the hands of Tate-Rogers and out. This beautiful white there as Bastillo gets the kill. The score is now knotted at 4. And you can see Bree Stockmore on the side. You mentioned her grain, and she's getting hyped up for her team.
Oh, yeah. She really enjoys the game. That's what makes you come out here and watch these Hornets.
Set out to Pastorius. Goes to Bastillo with the overhand receive. And now she rips one in between the block. Back out to Pastorius now. Received by Dobre. Tip. Back out to Pastorius once again 3 times in a row. 4 times in a row. She tips it over. It's up. What a pancake. And they go middle. And Espinda with the block. What a play. What a rally. The diving save by Bastillo. The block by Espinda. Just all around great play from both sides as the Hornets take the lead once again.
You can see they're doing what Caleb suggested. Mind reset.
And Dobre sends that ball out as Vikrockman comes back in. Score is, or should be at least, 5-5. We have Marissa Ramirez in for Tate-Rogers, back serving. And she sends it into the net. How many service errors do you think we've seen tonight?
At least 20. I think it's been pretty incredible in all 3 sets that we have followed here. Probably more than that, Caleb, but I think I'm being fair by saying 20.
I would agree. My coach used to have this philosophy of ace or error, where you either hit it hard enough, you just rip it, and if it's an ace, you get it. Oh, what a block by Stockmore on that slide attack. She put that right where she wanted to be, and Espinda with the block this time, and it goes down. Back-to-back monster blocks from Espinda and Stockmore to end that rally for the Hornets.
Now we have 21. We have Claudia Bustillo serving.
And she gets an ace, Claudia Bastillo, for her 9th ace of the year as the Hornets are pulling away early in this third set, 8-5.
And I'm going to go back to the statement that Caleb brought up where I said when you're struggling like we thought the women might be, what do? You said take a breath and reset. I think if you're watching this now here in the third set, you're seeing that from these women at Fullerton College.
That was a good tip there by Jaden Franchier. She dropped it right on the left of Stockmore's hands. Nobody was able to cover as the Tigers have a new libero. Alexis Manalak comes in for Sienna Vium. Pastorius serving, received by Bastillo. Espinda runs a slide, not quite able to get the set she wants. Rush rips it. Now to Stockmore, her chance. She tips with the left hand and a free ball over. And they run it quick to Espinda once again. Joust at the net. Arroyo dumps it over. And a return dump by, that was Aurora McCulley, a return dump. Well done by McCulley to put it right where nobody was expecting it.
We've seen the ball kept in play with an elbow, a foot, a toe, a head, and a hand. Is there any illegal part of the body in volleyball?
No. You can use as much as you want as long as you don't touch it twice in the same go. And that is an ace by Pastorius on Bastillo. The score is now knotted at 8.
And the other thing, Caleb, I've got to ask, because everybody likes to elevate. Do you lose power when you elevate compared to being flat-footed on the floor?
No. Because your power comes mainly from your core. You got to torque your core, and that's where your swing power comes from. It's a lot easier to do that in the air as Espinda goes off the block and gets the kill. Riley Rush not able to dive there in time as Espinda goes off the high hand, scores down 9-8. As Savannah Hernandez comes back in.
I keep learning more from Caleb tonight, so I'm having fun here learning more and more about the sport.
Received by Manalak. Back to Rush. Rush puts it into the net. Scores now 10-8.
And I'm going to ask you one more silly question. Some of the young ladies wear the long leggings. Some of them just wear shorts. Is there a difference in the uniforms while you're out there? When you get a chance, give me the answer.
The serve is up. And to Riley Rush. Dug up and able to send a free ball over is Cecilia Arroyo. And they run a quick down the middle, off the hands of Stockmore and out. Score is 10-9. And Mark, as you were saying, the leggings versus the shorts, there's really no difference. I mean, it's personal preference. What do you prefer? I'm sure some girls like to wear the shorts because it gives them more freedom of movement, and some like to wear it some like to wear the leggings so they don't get floorburned. Savannah Hernandez goes on the quick and sends it out. Set was a little bit too high. She had to reach over her head. Now Franchier back serving once again. She drops it short for Hernandez as Bastillo puts it over from a back row. Blocked. Soft block by Arroyo on Smith. And they go back to Smith. She tips it. What an up. Overpass attack. Bastillo gets that one up. Out to Stockmore now. Stockmore tips it over. That's the worst as a blocker. As a middle blocker myself, that is the worst feeling. You go up, you see the tip happen off the hands, and it's just as you're falling down, the ball's falling right where your hand used to be.
Slow motion.
Exactly. Cecilia Arroyo back to serve. Ball is up for Rush. Received by Debray. Back row to Bastillo. Bastillo puts it down. Now Smith on the outside. Roll shots, and Bastillo not able to get there in time. Score is knotted at 11.
You know, I've often wondered when I watch somebody go down to do a pancake or a crab, which is another move in volleyball, that actual feeling of hitting the floor. There's got to be that burn friction on that body just when you do it.
And that's exactly why some of these girls wear the leggings. Oh, and Stockmore tries to put in a tip, but what a beautiful kill by Sarah Britton. She just floated there once again. There was nobody up there with her. Score is now 12-11 for the Tigers. Rush serving. Received by Bastillo. Out to Stockmore. Stockmore rips it, blocked, and that one is put over. Ball is out to Smith, off the hands. And miscommunication. Great ups by Stockmore and Bastillo, but not able to get it up are Arroyo and Debray.
Every once in a while,
Timeout taken by the Hornets. The score is 13-11 here in the third set. And you are watching Fullerton College Volleyball here on Hornet Radio.
I've got to ask you, because you talked about a two-handed push, and every once in a while we'll get somebody that does that and they'll go 2 touches. So what is the purpose of doing the 2 hands if you're going to get that called on you? Or is there a way that you have to say to yourself, I'm lining up my fingertips to get it right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to make contact with both hands at the same time. And there was actually a rule change for both high school and college recently. They don't call doubles on the second touch anymore for setters. So the setters are able to double, but obviously if you do it cleanly like how it's supposed to be before the rule change, it's a much easier set, much better set for your hitters. But they just don't call it anymore. Not sure why they made the rule change, but I just know that they did.
So does that make it easier as a setter then now, because you don't have to be concerned about the double touch?
It does make it easier, so you don't have to be concerned about it, but you also always want to make sure that you don't, because if you do, it could spin the ball a weird way, or it could come off the hands weird and drop short, stuff like that. So you obviously want to make sure that you don't, but it does make it take a little pressure off the setter to make sure that it's proper every time.
Education here in volleyball on Hornet Radio.
Serving is Rush once again. She drops it short off the tape and in. And for the Tigers, we just mentioned Riley Rush serving. In the back row with her, we have Eva Muhammad and Sienna Vium is back in. And in the front row, we have Tate Rogers, Kayla Tate Rogers, Sarah Britton, and Savannah Smith. As that ball goes a quick to Sarah Britton. Beautiful set on the gap ball. And that's the kind of thing you want to see out of your middle, is running to the open space and hitting the ball. Beautiful set. And for the Hornets, we have Savannah Hernandez, Bree Stockmore, Cecilia Arroyo, who sets it to Stockmore off the hands. And that point goes to Fullerton. And make sure to get the inside scoop with Inside Fullerton Magazine. From campus updates to student spotlights, we cover the stories that make FC special. Pick up your print copy around campus or read the latest issue online. Inside Fullerton, your window into campus life. As Kayla Tate Rogers tries to drop it where nobody was, Claudia Bastillo would have been there, but didn't make it over the net anyway. Score is 13-15 for the Tigers. Stockmore back to serve. Stockmore gets a touch off of Vium. She was going to go for it, tries to pull back, doesn't pull back enough, and it just glances off her hands.
So if I glance the ball off an opposing player, is that an ace?
Yes. There's no touch aces and one touch aces. If there's 2 touches on the ball, it's not an ace unless it's like a diving attempt at a save. But that was an ace right there. And that ball is over and out. Just barely out, it looks like. And there's that big grin from Stockmore once again. The score is knotted at 15 here in the third set. Stockmore serving once again. And Savannah Smith shanks it. That is another ace for Bree Stockmore. And timeout taken by the Tigers. The score is 16-15 for the Hornets here in this third set. And you have been watching Fullerton College Volleyball on Hornet Radio.
So when you two guys are watching it right now, you look at the first 2 sets and you thought maybe there were some ways that Fullerton could improve. Joseph, what do you think they've done in this third set to improve the way they're playing right now?
I think Bree's turning up huge right now. It was 15-12, and last 4 points, Bree has come up huge to help bring it back and take the lead for the Hornets.
And Caleb, I'm going to throw the same thing at you. You've been out here all night. What's been the difference in this set?
It's been serves. there haven't been as many service errors from the Hornets on this one in this third set here, and it's showing by keeping the score close. But they also have to stop the serving runs that Riverside has been going on. If they're able to do that, I think they'll win, or at least this set. And a quick reset of the lineups. Serving for Fullerton, we have Bree Stottmore, and in the back row with her, we have Addison Ortega and Cecilia Arroyo. And in the front row, we have Claudia Bastillo, Savannah Hernandez, and Kennedy Dobre. Setter dump there, and Mark, that was what you were talking about earlier, or what we were both talking about, rather, where miscommunication, they were both going to go for it, and one of them stopped because they didn't want to collide. And now lineup for the Tigers, serving into the net is Savannah Smith, and for the front row, we have Riley Rush, Kayla Tate Rogers, and Sarah Britton. And back row with Savannah Smith, we have Madison Pastorius and Sienna Vium. As Savannah Hernandez now goes back to serve. And it looks like there's a wet spot on the court, so they want to take the towel, make sure nobody slips. Could be very, very dangerous if somebody does slip, especially on a jump. So,
yeah, do these courts get that viable that when they get wet, you'll go down real easy?
Oh, no, for sure. I mean, during practice, we have to wipe the court, I want to say at least 3 times a day if someone dives and is sweaty, because that sweat, it will make the court extremely slick. As Hernandez serves, received by Vium. Out to Pastorius, who rips it out. Tries to go hard angle, does not quite get it. Scores 18-6. Hernandez now. Received by Vium again. Ball is up. Out to Bastillo. Tries to rip one, goes into the net. Scores now 18-17. She tried maybe a little bit too hard to put too much power into that one. Mishit it, maybe came off the side of her hand and into the net. Vium back to serve. Serve is out. The score is 19-17. As Kennedy Dobre goes back to serve, and Ava Espinda comes into the front row. Dobre drops it short. Espinda, free ball kill. Got it to go. That is the most fun thing you can see as a hitter, is that free ball just floating right over. And you know you're going to have no block. You're going to want to swing as hard as you can, and she made it work. Score is 22-17. Dobre, received by Smith. Setter dump, got up by Bastillo that time. Back row to Stottmore. Stottmore puts one top of the tape. Ripped by Franchier, but dug very nicely. Franchier once again with the tip. No cover there from Bastillo. And looked like she was maybe going to rip it again, but beautiful up by Addison Ortega on that attack from Jaden Franchier. Marissa Ramirez now serving. Scores 20-18. Received by Stottmore. Back row to Stottmore. Trying to reward the passer. Ball is up. They have to free ball it over. Gets it. Ortega. Espinda tries to put it down. Got a little bit under it. There was no block there. Almost put it back corner just a little bit too hard.
I was going to ask you about that, too. When you try to do that kill, when you get a chance, tell me where's the apex of the flight of the ball when you want to hit it.
Stottmore puts it into the net. And, Mark, to answer your question, you want to hit it as high as you can. So it's on you knowing your wingspan and jumping ability, trying to put it down. But you want to hit it right when it's over the net, because if you accidentally reach over and the setter's trying to set it, that's a point against you. As that ball goes into the ref stand, Arroyo could not get it up, and it's 21-20 all of a sudden for the Tigers. They have taken this lead back. It was 20-17 as Marissa Ramirez now off the top of the tape, received by Stopmore. Stopmore, back row once again. Up and down. Stopmore done well to keep the Hornets in it, not let it get too far away. But that was the kind of serving run we were talking about that you can't let happen. You can't let them get 4 in a row on you.
Yeah, and now if you're the Hornets, this is where get the ball over the net.
Yeah. Bastillo now serving. Good serve. Back to Pastorius. Pastorius puts it down. Block was late. She had an open net. Scores 22-21.
Caleb, that was a beautiful back set because you had the defense moving, and so as a setter, you knew that if you went on this side, you would get the better angle to get the point. Just a pretty, pretty picture.
Absolutely. And now Pastorius, who just got the kill, back to serve. Drops it short. Received by Ortega. Back one from Espinda. And that was a tip over by Smith. Vikrockman not able to get there, as it is now 23-21 here in this third set. Fullerton hanging on by a thread.
Well, you back set on one, then you lollipop on the other one so that you have the defense moving to find that open spectrum when you drop the ball.
Pastorius, serve, and an ace from Pastorius to put this at match point for the Tigers. They just need one more to send this game home in a 3-0 sweep and pick up their 4th win of the season. And Stopmore with the receive. She gets the pass, tips it over. Libero sets it to Savannah Smith. That ball is out. Fullerton lives to survive another point, as we now have Addison Ortega going back to serve. She has 12 service aces on the season, tied for the most coming into today. They'll need a couple right here. Ball is set or dumped, picked up by Vikrockman. Out to Stopmore. Stopmore goes off the block, picks it up. Rush off the hands, received by Bastillo. Out to Stopmore. Stopmore goes high above the hands. Quick to the middle. Touched by Ortega, and that is game. The game ends in a 3-0 sweep for the Tigers, and we end up 25-22 here in the third set. This has been Fullerton College Volleyball here on Hornet Radio.